Across the whole living world, one quiet habit connects almost everyone. From the deepest ocean to the highest branch, nearly every animal that scientists have studied gives in to sleep, or to something that closely resembles it. Tonight, imagine the earth turning into shadow, and countless creatures answering the same ancient call to rest. A lion, a sparrow, a honeybee, a small striped fish, each finding its own way to let the day fall away. Sleep is not a strange invention of humans alone. It appears in mammals and birds, in reptiles and fish, in insects, in worms, and in animals so simple they have no brain to speak of at all. Researchers describe sleep by what they can watch and measure. An animal grows still, settles into a favored posture, responds less to the world around it, and then, when gently roused, becomes fully alert once more. There is one more clue that marks true sleep. When an animal is kept from resting, it does not simply carry on unchanged. Later it sleeps longer and more deeply, as if repaying a quiet debt it owes to itself. By these signs, sleep turns up almost everywhere biologists look. It threads through the branches of the animal family tree so widely that many think it arose very early, long before our own kind ever walked the earth. Consider the fruit fly, a speck of life smaller than a grain of rice. In the evening it grows quiet and unmoving for hours, and it too sleeps more the next night if its rest is disturbed. Zebrafish, no longer than a finger, drift near the bottom of the tank as darkness falls. Their bodies hang almost motionless, their tails barely stirring, held in a quiet, drifting calm until morning light returns. Even the roundworm, a creature of only 1,000 cells, enters spells of deep quiet. During these pauses, it stops feeding and moving, resting between the great changes of its short and simple life. Perhaps the most surprising sleeper of all has no brain, no heart, and no eyes. The upside-down jellyfish, pulsing on a warm seafloor, slows its rhythm at night into a genuine sleep-like state. When those jellyfish are nudged awake through the dark hours, they too rest longer afterward. A body with no thinking mind still seems to need this pause, hinting that sleep is older and simpler than thought itself. If jellyfish rest, then sleep may be woven into the very fabric of being alive. It suggests that even the earliest, softest animals in ancient seas close the day with a period of stillness much like ours. Yet within this shared need, the shapes of sleep are wonderfully varied. Some animals sleep for many hours at once. Others take dozens of tiny naps, scattered through the day like beads on a thread. Some creatures sleep standing, some hanging upside down, some floating, some buried in sand or curled deep inside a burrow. Each has found a resting place that keeps it hidden and safe while its guard is lowered. A few remarkable animals can even rest half a brain at a time, keeping one eye open to the world. Others fall so completely still that a passerby might mistake their slumber for something far more final. Over the nights ahead in this journey, Picture yourself as a traveler through a sleeping kingdom. We will visit the ocean, the forest, the open sky, and the smallest hidden corners where tiny lives grow quiet. We will meet dolphins that never fully close down, and swifts that seem to sleep upon the wing. We will find sloths dozing in the canopy, and bats folded together in the cool hush of a cave. You will learn how a horse rests upright yet still lies down to dream, and how a bird can perch on a swaying branch all night without ever tumbling from its place. Along the way, we will speak plainly about what sleep is and what it is not. Hibernation and torpor, those deep cold slowdowns of the body, are their own remarkable states related to sleep yet not the same. Some animals sleep far more than we might guess, and others far less. The numbers surprise us again and again, and where the science is still uncertain, we will say so gently and honestly. For all their differences, these creatures share something with you as you lie here now. The same tide that pulls a whale into rest and a moth into stillness is the tide easing through your own body tonight. There is comfort in that thought. To sleep is not to be weak or apart. It is to join a vast and ancient company of living things, all yielding to the same deep and necessary calm. So let your shoulders loosen, and let the day's small weights slip from you one by one. Around the turning world, 1,000 kinds of creatures are settling into rest at this very moment, and you belong among them. Rest now, as the sleeping kingdom gathers around you in the dark. Breathe slowly, and let curiosity carry you softly toward morning, while we begin our quiet wander through the many wondrous ways that animals sleep. Before we watch how animals sleep, it helps to ask what sleep truly is. Scientists cannot peer inside every creature's mind, so they define sleep by behavior, by what a resting body softly shows the watching eye. The first sign is stillness. A sleeping animal reduces its movement, settling into a resting quiet that sets it apart from an ordinary pause when muscles ease and the busy business of the waking hours slows to almost nothing. Alongside stillness comes a chosen shape. Most animals adopt a species-typical posture for sleep: a curled body, a tucked head, folded limbs, the same familiar arrangement returned to night after night or day after day for those who rest by sunlight. Where an animal sleeps matters as much as how. Creatures seek a specific safer place first: a burrow, a branch, a reef crevice, a sheltered hollow, choosing spots that shield them during the vulnerable stretch when their guard is lowered. The third marker is harder to see but essential. A sleeping animal shows a raised arousal threshold, meaning it takes a stronger sound or touch to rouse it, so the same faint noise that turns a waking head leaves a sleeping one undisturbed. Picture a resting bird on a quiet branch, a soft rustle nearby, one that would snap an alert bird to attention, may pass without response, because in sleep the doorway back to wakefulness is real, yet set a little higher than before. This raised threshold is not indifference. The sleeping brain still listens in the background, filtering the world, letting ordinary sounds fade while holding a readiness to surface fast if something truly urgent breaks through the surrounding hush. Now comes the marker that separates sleep from deeper stillness. Sleep is rapidly reversible, which means a strong enough stimulus can return the animal to full wakefulness within moments, alert, upright, and ready to move as if it had never rested. That swift return is why sleep is not a coma. In coma, the reversibility is lost, and no ordinary call can lift the mind back to awareness, whereas sleep keeps its exit door unlocked, waiting only for the right nudge to open it. Hibernation, too, differs from sleep in this crucial way. A deeply hibernating ground squirrel cannot simply be shaken awake. It must slowly rewarm across many minutes or hours, a gradual climb that true sleep never requires of the sleeper. It helps to hold torpor apart from sleep entirely. Torpor is a metabolic state, a deliberate lowering of body temperature and energy use to survive scarcity, and while it may look restful, it is not the same phenomenon as sleep at all. Researchers have found something telling within hibernation itself. Some hibernating mammals periodically rewarm and appear to sleep, as if the long metabolic slowdown starved them of real rest, and only genuine sleep can repay that particular debt. And a debt is exactly the right word. Sleep is homeostatic, governed by a balance the body works to keep, so that time spent awake accumulates a rising pressure, a growing need that only sleeping can finally settle and discharge. When an animal is kept awake beyond its usual hours, this pressure reveals itself. Afterward, it shows a rebound, sleeping longer or more deeply than normal, as though the body were carefully repaying the hours it was made to miss. This rebound has been measured across the animal kingdom. Deprive a rat, a pigeon, even a fruit fly of rest, and each recovers with extra or intensified sleep, a shared signature suggesting the need runs deep through countless branches of life. So a working definition takes shape from these threads. Reduced movement, a typical posture in a safe place, a raised threshold to waking, quick reversibility, and a rebound after loss. Together they mark the state we recognize as sleep. In mammals and birds, scientists can look deeper still into the electrical rhythms of the brain. There, sleep divides into two broad phases that alternate through the resting hours, each with its own distinctive pattern and quiet purpose. The first is slow-wave sleep, also called non-REM. In this phase, the brain's activity gathers into large, slow, synchronized waves, deep and even like long swells rolling across a calm sea, while the body lies restful and still. Slow-wave sleep is often the deepest, most restorative stretch. The arousal threshold rises highest here, the body cools slightly, and many of the repairing processes of rest seem to unfold within these unhurried rolling rhythms of the resting brain. The second phase is REM, named for the rapid eye movements that flicker beneath closed lids. Here the brain grows strangely active, its waves quickening to resemble waking, even as the body lies mostly slack and unmoving beneath it. REM sleep holds a curious contradiction. The mind stirs with vivid activity, in humans the vivid domain of dreams, while a temporary muscle stillness keeps the body from acting those inner motions out, a graceful separation of thought and movement. Across a night or a day, these two phases take turns. Slow wave and REM cycle again and again, weaving between depth and quickness, and this alternating rhythm is one of the most widely shared patterns in the sleeping lives of mammals and birds. Not every animal fits this tidy picture, and that is part of the wonder. Reptiles, fish, and insects rest in ways still being uncovered, reminding us that sleep is an ancient, varied, and only partly understood thread of life. Hold this simple frame as we go on, and let it ease you toward rest. Sleep is a still, reversible, needed state the living world returns to again and again, and you, unhurried now, are quietly returning to it too. Imagine trying to sleep while never quite closing your eyes, never fully surrendering. For dolphins, this is simply how rest works, night after night in the open sea. Their answer is one of the strangest and loveliest tricks in all of biology. A dolphin cannot breathe without thinking about it. Each breath is a deliberate act, a rise to the surface and a conscious opening of the blowhole. If it slept the way we do, fully unconscious, it would drown in the water it calls home. So the dolphin brain learned to divide the task. One half of it sleeps while the other half stays awake, keeping watch over each breath. Scientists call this unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, a name as gentle as the behavior itself. Picture the brain split into two mirrored halves, two hemispheres joined in the middle. In most animals, both drop into sleep together. In the dolphin, only one dims at a time, while its partner keeps the body afloat and breathing. You can often tell which half is resting by watching the eyes. When the left hemisphere sleeps, the right eye tends to close, and the opposite eye stays open. The waking half looks out through a single watchful pupil. Researchers confirmed this by reading the electrical rhythms of the dolphin brain. On one side, they saw the slow rolling waves of deep sleep. On the other, the quick and lively patterns of a mind fully awake and alert. With one eye still open, the dolphin never loses touch with its world. It watches for the shapes of predators sliding through the blue. It keeps its bearings among the pod, and it never forgets the surface waiting above. After a while, the two halves quietly trade places. The sleeping hemisphere wakes. The waking one settles into slumber, and the open eye switches sides across a full day. Each half collects its own share of rest. A resting dolphin may swim slowly in gentle circles or hang almost still just beneath the surface, a posture people have named logging. It looks like a piece of driftwood adrift, yet half its mind is soundly asleep. Sometimes calves and mothers rest while swimming side by side. The young dolphin stays close, carried along in its mother's slipstream. Even in sleep, the family keeps moving together through the darkening water as a single quiet shape. This half and half sleep is not unique to dolphins alone. Porpoises share it, and so do belugas and other toothed whales, all of them breathers who must never fully lose themselves beneath the waves. Now think of the fur seal, an animal that lives between two worlds. On land it can sleep like us, both hemispheres resting at once, its whole brain releasing into stillness on the warm and crowded rocks. But when a fur seal drifts far out to sea, everything changes. There is no shore to lie upon, only water, so it floats on its side with one flipper paddling steadily to hold its nose above the surface. In that floating posture, the seal switches to sleeping one hemisphere at a time. The half of the brain controlling the paddling flipper stays awake, while the other half sinks into slow and gentle waves of sleep. What makes the fur seal so remarkable is this flexibility of rest. It carries two kinds of sleep within one body and chooses between them depending on where it happens to be, ocean or island, motion or stillness. Researchers studying these seals noticed something tender in the details. During one-sided ocean sleep, the animal produces far fewer of the deep whole brain waves it enjoys on land. The sea asks it to rest more lightly, more warily. Some birds have discovered this same quiet talent. Mallard ducks sleeping in a row will keep the outer eye of the outermost bird open, its brain half awake, scanning the edge of the group for danger. The ducks in the safe center of the line can close both eyes and let their whole brains rest. Those on the exposed ends keep one hemisphere on guard. The flock shares the burden of watching position by position. Even more astonishing are the birds that sleep in flight. Great frigate birds soar for days above the ocean, and researchers found they steal brief moments of sleep on the wing, sometimes with only half the brain at a time. For these wanderers, half-sleeping is what makes the impossible ordinary. A frigate bird can glide on a rising current, rest a single hemisphere for a few seconds, and still hold its course across the endless open water. Consider what all these animals share, from dolphin to seal to soaring bird. Each faces a world where full unconsciousness would be dangerous, and each answered with the same elegant compromise, a brain that sleeps in halves. There is a kind of wisdom in this arrangement, a way of never being fully undefended. The waking half stands watch, so the sleeping half can truly rest, and then, without complaint, they exchange their duties. You need no such vigilance tonight. No predator circles your bed, no breath depends on you remembering to take it, and both halves of your mind are free to fall still at once. So let the dolphins keep their slow circles beneath the moonlit sea, one eye open, one half dreaming. Rest now, knowing your whole brain may finally let go, safe and warm and wonderfully unwatched. High above the open ocean, a great frigate bird tilts its long wings and rides the warm air upward. For days it may not touch land or water, Feeding on flying fish and squid it snatches from the surface far below. Researchers once wondered whether such a bird ever truly rested aloft. To find out, they fitted frigate birds with tiny devices that recorded brain activity, the same electrical signatures of sleep that scientists read in humans lying still in a laboratory. The recordings revealed something remarkable. Over the sea, these birds do sleep in flight, slipping into short bouts of slow brain waves while their wings hold them steady on the rising currents of air. Most often the sleep was one-sided. Half the brain would sink into slumber, while the other half stayed awake. One eye frequently kept open, watching the direction the bird was gliding toward. Scientists call this unihemispheric sleep, a state in which a single hemisphere rests at a time. It lets an animal remain partly alert, tending to the world while some of the brain quietly repairs itself. With one eye open, a soaring frigate bird can keep track of its heading and avoid colliding with a neighbor. The waking half steers, while the sleeping half takes its brief turn to rest. Now and then, both halves dozed at once. The birds sometimes entered whole brain sleep for a few seconds, drifting with both eyes shut, still gliding, their wings needing no conscious command to stay outstretched. They even showed brief flashes of REM sleep, the stage when muscle tone normally relaxes. In flight, these episodes lasted only seconds, sometimes with a slight drop of the head, yet never enough to disturb the bird's steady glide. Almost all of this aerial sleep happened while the birds were rising. As they circled upward on a column of warm air, they could close an eye. When gliding down to hunt, they stayed fully awake. What surprised the researchers most was how little the birds slept at all. Out over the water, a frigate bird gathered less than 1 hour of sleep across an entire day and night. Compare that to their time ashore, where the very same birds slept for more than 12 hours a day. On land they rested deeply, at sea they made do with a sliver of that. It seems these birds carry a large sleep debt through their ocean journeys, running on remarkably little for a week or more. How they endure such deprivation without harm remains an open and fascinating question. The frigate bird shows us that flight and sleep are not always opposites. A brain can rest in fragments, half at a time, seconds at a time, even as the body glides through moving air. Consider next the common swift, a small dark bird with slender curved wings built almost entirely for the sky. Once it leaves the nest as a fledgling, it may not land again for years. Tracking studies revealed that some swifts remain airborne for up to 10 months without stopping. They eat, drink, and molt on the wing, touching down mainly when the time comes to nest and raise their own young. For so long a journey, sleep must somehow happen aloft. Yet swifts are small and fly fast, and no one has yet placed brain recorders on a wild swift crossing the night sky. There are gentle clues, though. Radar and old pilot accounts describe swifts climbing to great heights at dusk, then gliding slowly through the dark, a behavior that resembles the rising and dozing patterns seen in frigate birds. Scientists suspect swifts may catch their rest in these high evening ascents, letting one hemisphere sleep while the other holds their course. For now, this remains a careful hypothesis, awaiting the day the measurement can be made. What both birds share is a talent for the briefest of rests. Their sleep is not the long, unbroken stillness we know, but a mosaic of seconds and single hemispheres stitched across the hours. It reminds us that sleep wears many shapes across the living world. There is no single correct amount, no one posture. Each creature has found its own answer to the ancient need for rest. Picture a frigate bird now, a small silhouette against a vast evening sky, one eye softly closed as it circles higher on the warm ocean air. Half of it sleeps while half of it flies. Below, the sea darkens and the stars begin to show, and still the bird glides on, resting in pieces, asking so little of the night before returning to its endless hunting. These wanderers ask us to loosen our idea of what sleep must be. It can be partial, it can be fleeting, and it can happen in motion, thousands of feet above the waves. Rest now as those birds rest, in whatever measure the night allows. You need not stay aloft for months. You may let both eyes close, both halves quiet, and sink fully into the dark. Out in a moonlit pasture, a horse lowers its head, softens its ears, and lets its lower lip hang loose. Its eyes half close, yet its legs stay firm and upright. This creature is asleep on its feet, balanced and unmoving. Horses evolved on open grasslands, where a predator could appear from any direction. Lying down takes precious seconds to reverse, so natural selection favored a body that could rest while still ready to run. Standing became the safest way to doze. The secret lives in the legs, in an arrangement anatomists call the stay apparatus. Tendons and ligaments interlock around the joints, forming a kind of living scaffold. It holds the limbs in place with almost no muscular work at all. In the hind leg, a small hook of bone at the top of the kneecap catches on a ridge of the thigh bone. This locks the joint like a latch clicking shut. The leg holds its own weight while the muscles around it fall quiet. Imagine a folding stepladder that clicks into a rigid triangle once it opens. The horse's leg braces itself in much the same way. Ligaments take the strain that muscles would otherwise carry, so fatigue never builds through the long, still hours. Because the skeleton does the holding, a standing horse spends barely more energy than one lying flat. Its breathing slows and its heartbeat eases into a resting rhythm. Yet at the smallest crackle of alarm, it can be awake and bolting into a run within moments. Horses often shift their weight, cocking one hind leg while the other stands square beneath them. Watch closely and you may see them trade legs through the night, sharing the load. The resting hoof tips onto its toe, relaxed and unhurried. This upright rest is real sleep, but only the lighter kind, what researchers call slow-wave sleep. In these stages, the brain drifts through gentle waves while the body keeps its posture. It is dozing rather than the deep surrender that comes later. There is one form of sleep the stay apparatus cannot provide. In rapid eye movement sleep, the phase linked with vivid dreaming, the muscles lose their tone almost entirely. No locking tendon can hold a body whose muscles have gone completely slack. So for that deepest sleep, a horse must finally fold its legs and lie down. It settles onto the grass, sometimes stretching flat on its side. Only then can the dreaming stage arrive, with the whole body loose against the earth. A grown horse needs only a few hours lying down across a day, and the true dreaming sleep may total less than an hour. The rest is gathered upright in scattered spells. Deep sleep is brief, precious, and taken only when it feels safe. Curiously, a horse cannot reach that dreaming stage without lying down at some point. Kept from ever resting flat, it grows starved of REM. Given a soft, secure place, it will eventually stretch out and let the deeper sleep return. Cattle share this talent for upright dozing, resting on their feet as they slowly work their cud. Their stay apparatus steadies them while the four-chambered stomach keeps churning. Standing and digesting, they pass long stretches in a calm, wakeful drowse. Yet cows, too, must lie down for their soundest sleep, and they do so willingly, folding their legs beneath them. A herd at rest becomes a scatter of dark shapes on the field. Some recline while others remain standing above them. Giraffes carry the standing habit to its extreme, spending most of the night on their feet. Lying down leaves them slow to rise on those enormous legs. When true sleep comes, it lasts only minutes, snatched in the briefest of intervals. Sometimes a sleeping giraffe curls its long neck backward and rests its head upon its own hindquarters. In this looped posture, it slips into a few moments of deep sleep. Then it lifts its head again and the watching resumes. Safety in these animals is rarely a solitary matter. It is shared across the herd. While some individuals doze, others stay alert, heads raised toward the horizon. The group becomes a single organism, half asleep and half on guard. Horses living together take turns lying flat for their deep sleep, rarely all at once. One or two will stretch out on the ground while the others stand sentinel nearby. Trust within the herd is what makes the deepest rest possible. A young foal, still small and low to the ground, can afford to sleep lying down far more often. Sheltered by the tall bodies of the adults, it sprawls in the grass without fear. The herd's vigilance becomes the blanket that covers it. This shared watchfulness echoes across many grazing species, from zebras on the plains to wild ponies on windswept moors. Each depends on the other's open eyes. In numbers there is safety, and in safety there is the freedom to rest. Notice how the animals arrange themselves, often facing different directions as they settle. Together their gazes cover every angle of approach. No single creature must stay awake all night because the burden is quietly divided among them all. There is a deep economy in all of this, a body built to rest without ever fully letting go. The locking legs, the shared watch, the brief dives into dreaming, each is an answer to the same ancient question of how to sleep and survive. Picture the herd now, standing loose and easy under a wide, quiet sky. A few lie folded in the grass, breathing slow, while the others keep their gentle vigil. Rest moves among them like a tide passing from body to body. Rest now as those standing sleepers rest, held upright by nothing more than the clever architecture of their own bones. Let your limbs grow heavy while some watchful part of the world stays awake for you. There is safety enough for sleep. Consider the largest animal walking the land, and you might expect it to rest for long, luxurious hours. Yet the African elephant sleeps the least of any land mammal we have measured, taking only about 2 hours across a full day and night. Researchers learned this by fitting wild elephants with tracking devices that recorded the stillness of their trunks. When the trunk lay motionless for 5 minutes or more, the animal was almost certainly asleep, and those quiet spells were remarkably brief. 2 matriarchs in Botswana carried these sensors for just over a month. Their combined records showed sleep averaging around 2 hours nightly, a figure far smaller than the 4 to 6 hours often reported for elephants resting in zoos. That gap between wild and captive numbers teaches something important. An animal with food delivered and no predators may doze far longer than one that must forage, march, and stay alert. So wild measurements tell the truer story of how giants rest. Most of an elephant's sleep happens while it is standing upright. The great legs lock into a stable posture, the trunk hangs loose, and the huge body sways only slightly as breathing slows through the long hours before dawn. Standing sleep makes sense for a creature weighing several tons. Rising from the ground is slow and effortful, so remaining on its feet lets an elephant wake and move within seconds if a lion or a rival should approach the herd. Only every 3rd or 4th night did the tracked elephants actually lie down on their sides. When they did, they rested that way for roughly an hour, and researchers suspect this is when the deepest dreaming sleep most likely occurs. Lying flat matters for a specific reason. Some scientists think an elephant may need to be recumbent to enter full rapid eye movement sleep, the stage tied to vivid dreaming, which could mean these giants dream only once every few nights. Even more astonishing, the 2 matriarchs sometimes skipped sleep entirely. On several occasions they stayed awake and walking for a day or 2 straight, covering long distances without any measurable rest at all. Those sleepless stretches lined up with disturbances. When lions moved close or human poachers threatened the area, the elephants pushed onward through the night, trading rest for the safety of putting many miles between themselves and danger. Picture that endurance for a moment. A body larger than a small truck, traveling for 30 hours or more with no sleep, guided by memory and the low rumbles that pass silently between members of the herd. How an animal functions on so little rest remains genuinely puzzling. In most mammals, sleep loss impairs memory and health, yet elephants are famous for their long memories, and they thrive on a sleep budget that would leave us reeling. The elephant is not alone among the tall and lightly sleeping. The giraffe, that other icon of the savanna, also passes most of its life awake, resting for only a few scattered hours across each day and night. For a long time, people believed giraffes barely slept at all. Careful observation later showed they do sleep, but in short fragments, often standing, with their eyes half closed and their tall frames still against the acacia horizon. The most striking giraffe posture appears in their deepest sleep. The animal folds its long legs beneath its body, then curves its neck backward to rest its head upon its own hindquarters, forming a graceful loop of resting muscle and bone. That curled back pose signals rapid eye movement sleep, and it lasts only a minute or two at a time. A giraffe may enter this vulnerable state just a handful of times in a night, gathering its dreaming in the briefest of installments. Add those fragments together and the total is tiny. In the wild, a giraffe may sleep only around 2 hours a day, much of it in light, standing dozes with true deep sleep amounting to mere minutes. The reason echoes the elephants, though. The giraffe faces sharper stakes. Folding down and curling that long neck takes precious seconds to undo. And on the open plain, a lion may be waiting, so deep sleep must stay short. There is a tender vulnerability in that curled shape. To reach its deepest rest, the tallest animal on earth must briefly surrender its greatest advantage, lowering the watchful head that usually surveys the land from 5 meters high. Both these giants remind us that size does not buy slumber. The animals that tower over the savanna have, through the long pressures of survival, become some of the lightest sleepers in the whole of the mammal world. It is a quiet paradox worth holding as the night deepens. The bigger the body, we might assume, the greater its need for rest. Yet the elephant and the giraffe have written the opposite across the grasslands of Africa. Rest now, and let the image settle. An elephant standing motionless beneath the stars, trunk hanging still, breathing slowly through its 2 brief hours while the herd keeps its silent watch nearby. Somewhere on the same plain, a giraffe lowers itself, folds its legs, and curls its neck back for a minute of dreaming. Then it lifts its head again, refreshed by a sleep smaller than any we would choose. There is no such vigil for you tonight. Unlike the 2-hour giants, you may let your rest run long and unbroken, sinking past their fleeting minutes into the deep and generous sleep that a safe, quiet night allows. As night settles over a quiet cave, a colony of bats gathers along the stone ceiling. Each one hangs head downward, wings folded close, resting in the cool darkness where daylight never reaches. This is how many bats spend their sleeping hours. Hanging upside down may look strenuous to us, yet for a bat it is the most restful position of all. Their small hind legs point upward, toes curled over a ledge, while the whole body sways beneath in the still air. Look closely at a roosting bat and you will notice its feet do almost nothing. The claws hook over a crevice, and the animal simply lets gravity do the holding, requiring no clenching, no straining, no conscious grip at all. The secret lies in the tendons of the toes. As the bat's weight pulls downward, those tendons draw tight and lock the claws closed automatically, so the grip holds firm on its own without any muscle working to sustain it. Because of this clever design, a sleeping bat spends no energy staying aloft. It can relax every muscle in its body and still remain firmly hooked in place, held by mechanics rather than effort, secure even in the deepest rest. The heavier the bat leans into the hold, the more surely its toes close. Weight itself becomes the lock, so there is nothing to maintain and nothing to tire, only a stillness that can last through the long light of day. You might wonder why a creature would choose to sleep this way. Bats cannot leap into the air from level ground, for their wings lift poorly from a standstill and their legs are too slender to run. Hanging high solves the problem with a single elegant trick. To take flight, a roosting bat simply releases its grip and drops into open air, its wings biting the wind as it falls, launching without a running start. Roosting overhead also lifts them beyond the reach of many predators. Tucked into a ceiling, a hollow, or a narrow rock seam, a hanging bat is hard to surprise, resting where few hunters can easily follow. Bats sleep in a remarkable range of shelters. Some crowd by the thousands in warm caverns, others tuck alone beneath loose bark or inside a folded leaf, and fruit bats hang openly in the branches of tall trees. Many bats fold their wings around themselves like a thin cloak as they settle. The wing membrane traps a little warmth against the body and shields delicate skin, wrapping the sleeper in a covering it carries everywhere it goes. Bats have long been counted among the great sleepers of the animal world. Early studies suggested some rest for nearly 20 hours a day, a figure that seemed to make them the sleepiest of all mammals by far. Those early numbers, though, came from bats kept in laboratory cages. Researchers now suspect the totals were inflated because a bat lying motionless is not always truly asleep, and stillness was easily mistaken for slumber. Part of the confusion comes from a very different condition called torpor. When food grows scarce or the air turns cold, many bats let their bodies cool and their inner workings slow, sinking into a deep energy-saving quiet. During torpor, a bat's heart may slow from hundreds of beats each minute to only a handful. Its temperature can fall until it nearly matches the surrounding air, and its breathing grows so faint it almost seems to pause. Torpor, however, still it appears, is not the same as sleep. Sleep is a light, reversible rest the brain can rise from within moments, while torpor is a chilled, slowed state that may take many minutes of warming to leave. In fact, some researchers believe a torpid bat must still sleep to recover, as though the cold state builds a debt that only ordinary rest repays. The two conditions overlap in time, which is why the old counts blurred them together. When scientists measure the brain of a resting bat, they find the familiar rhythms of genuine sleep, distinct from the flat, cooled pattern of torpor. Only these true sleeping hours belong in the tally, and they are fewer than once believed. Leaving torpor is not free, for a bat must burn precious fuel to warm itself back to life. It shivers and trembles, coaxing heat into cold muscles, spending in minutes some of the energy that the long chill had saved. The little brown bat shows both states clearly across the year. Through summer nights it truly sleeps between hunts, and through winter it slips into long torpor, rousing now and then before settling once more into the cold. Not every bat grows cold this way. Large fruit bats of warm regions rarely enter torpor at all, hanging in the trees and simply sleeping through the heat of the day, their world too mild to demand such measures. As evening returns, a sleeping bat begins to stir. It grooms its fur, tests its wings, and loosens the hold that carried it through the day, ready to drop from its perch and pour out into the gathering night. Rest now as the colony hangs above you, each small body swaying a little in the cool cave air. Nothing there is working, nothing straining, only claws that hold themselves and creatures given over wholly to their rest. Let the image of those hanging sleepers stay with you as your own weight sinks into the bed. They ask nothing of their muscles to stay held, and tonight you need ask nothing of yours, kept safe and still until morning. Consider the lion stretched across warm savanna grass in the heat of afternoon. A wild lion may spend 15 to 20 hours of each day at rest, drowsing and dozing, and a good share of those hours is real sleep beneath the sun. This long repose is not laziness but arithmetic. A single successful hunt can deliver dozens of pounds of meat in one sitting, so a lion earns the fuel for a whole day in a burst of effort, then spends the remaining hours recovering. Meat is a rich, concentrated food, dense with energy and quick to digest into usable calories. Because a predator gathers so much nourishment in so little time, it can afford to let the rest of the day dissolve into stillness. Safety shapes this luxury as much as diet does. A grown lion sits near the top of its world, with few creatures bold enough to threaten a resting pride, so it can surrender to deep sleep without keeping one eye on the horizon. Watch a house cat curled on a windowsill, and you see the same inheritance. Domestic cats sleep roughly 12 to 16 hours a day, an echo of the hunting rhythm their wild ancestors carried across thousands of years. A cat's sleep comes in many short chapters, rather than one long night. This is the origin of the word catnap, a scatter of brief slumbers that lets a small hunter conserve energy between the quick, explosive chases that feed it. Even in the deepest feline sleep, the body rehearses the hunt. Researchers have watched sleeping cats twitch their paws and flick their whiskers during dreaming sleep, as if stalking imagined prey across a field that exists only in the mind. Now turn to the animals these hunters pursue, and the pattern reverses completely. A grazing zebra or gazelle cannot afford long, heavy sleep because the same stillness that restores a lion would leave a prey animal defenseless. Herbivores pay a second price in their diet. Grass and leaves hold far less energy than meat, so a plant eater must spend many waking hours feeding, leaving little of the day free to be spent lying down. A wild horse may sleep only around 3 hours in a full day, gathered in brief fragments. Much of that rest is taken standing up, thanks to a bracing arrangement of tendons that lets the legs lock and bear weight without effort. To reach the deepest sleep, though, even a horse must finally lie down and stretch out flat. It does this only in short spells, and often only when companions stand nearby, so that some eyes remain open while others close. This is the quiet logic that runs through the animal world. How much a creature sleeps and how deeply tends to track three things together: how safe it is, how rich its food, and how fast its body burns fuel. Predators tend to sleep long because all three factors align in their favor. They are rarely hunted, they eat calorie-dense meals, and once fed, their bodies can idle for hours without hunger pulling them back to their feet. Prey animals live at the opposite pole of that same equation. Exposed to danger, feeding on thin fare, they take their rest in cautious slivers, always half prepared to rise and run at the first hint of a footstep. Sleep researchers describe some of this lighter rest as vigilant sleep, a state that stays shallow enough to be broken in an instant. The brain rests, yet a thread of awareness remains awake, listening at the edge of the quiet. Body size and metabolism add their own gentle influence to the pattern. Very small mammals with fast-burning bodies often need more sleep, while some large grazers, forever refueling, make do with surprisingly little. None of these habits are choices an animal makes each evening. They are ancient settings shaped over countless generations, tuning each species to sleep exactly as much as its particular life among hunters and hunted allows. There is a tenderness in seeing sleep this way. The lion's long, luxurious afternoon and the gazelle's brief, watchful pauses are two honest answers to the same question every animal must quietly resolve: when is it safe to let go? For the well-fed hunter, the answer is generous, an open invitation to sink into hours of rest. Warm, unhurried, and secure, the predator lets the deep stages of sleep wash slowly through its body like a tide with nowhere to be. Notice how much of this world you carry within your own resting form. Like the lion, you are a creature who can afford deep sleep only where you feel safe, warm, and unhurried, with nothing left to guard against tonight. Picture the pride now, a heap of tawny bodies overlapping in the grass, breathing slowing into one shared rhythm. There is nothing to chase and nothing to fear, only the long golden hours stretching out ahead of them. Rest now as the great hunters rest, having done the day's work and earned the stillness that follows. Let the muscles that carried you soften, one by one, into the same easy heaviness that settles over a sleeping lion. Let your breath lengthen the way a fed predator's does when the hunt is finished and the sun is warm. There is no next task waiting in this hour, only the deep and unhurried sleep that safety makes possible. You are safe enough and fed enough and free enough to let the whole day go. Sink into that certainty as the lions do and allow this long, restful sleep to carry you gently toward the morning. Somewhere in the canopy of Central America, a sloth hangs beneath a branch, limbs folded, breathing slowly. Few animals wear the reputation this one does. For decades, the sloth has been the world's favorite emblem of endless, luxurious sleep. You have probably heard the famous number. Sloths, the story goes, sleep nearly 20 hours a day, dozing through almost the whole spin of the planet. It is a lovely image, and for a long time it passed from book to book as though it were simple fact. The long figures, though, came from a particular place. Sleep was clocked in zoos and laboratories where sloths lived behind glass, fed on schedule, warm and safe. There, watched by human eyes, captive sloths dozed for around 16 hours a day. A captive life is a strange one for a creature built for the treetops. There are no predators to track, no branches to cross, no hunger to answer by climbing. With so little to do, a sloth may simply rest far more than it otherwise would. Sleep measured by watching is easy to mistake. A sloth that hangs still with its eyes closed looks asleep, yet stillness is its whole way of living. To truly count its sleep, researchers needed to look inside the brain itself. So a team set out to do exactly that, not in a zoo but high in the rainforest of Panama. They worked with wild three-toed sloths, animals that had never known a cage, living the life their bodies were shaped across ages to live. The tool they used was a tiny device called an electroencephalogram, an EEG, worn like a small cap. It records the brain's faint electrical rhythms, the slow waves of deep sleep, and the quicker patterns of waking hour after hour. This was the first time such a recorder had ever traveled into the wild on an animal's head. Earlier studies had always kept their subjects indoors. Now the sloths carried the laboratory with them, up among the leaves where they belonged. For several days the little loggers listened, gathering the private music of each sloth's mind. The animals climbed and fed and rested as they pleased, entirely free, while the record of their sleeping and waking quietly filled up. When the researchers gathered the numbers, the old legend fell away. The wild sloths slept not 20 hours, but about 9.5, roughly 9 hours and 40 minutes across each full day and night, no more than many ordinary mammals. 9.5 hours is a familiar amount. It is close to what we ourselves often need, near what many mid-sized mammals manage. The sloth, that supposed champion of slumber, turned out to be wonderfully, reassuringly average. The gap between the captive hours and the wild ones is wide, and it tells a quiet lesson. Much of what the captive sloths did was not true sleep at all, but the extra idleness of a life with nothing pressing left to do. Here lies the heart of the misunderstanding. We saw an animal that moves without hurry, and assumed it must sleep without end. Slowness of body and length of sleep, it turns out, are two entirely separate things. A sloth's slowness is written into its whole design. It eats tough leaves that yield little energy, so it spends that energy with great care. Every reach, every step along a branch is measured against a very thin budget of fuel. Its inner fire burns low as well. A sloth's body runs cooler and calmer than most mammals its size, its heart unhurried, its digestion taking days. This deep economy of energy shapes each movement, yet it never once decides how long the brain will sleep. Think of it as the difference between resting and dawdling. A sleeping brain shows its own signature in those EEG waves, unmistakable and real. A sloth hanging awake but motionless shows something else entirely, a kind of watchful, thrifty calm. In the wild, a sloth cannot afford to sleep the day away. It must watch for harpy eagles above and for jaguars below, find fresh leaves, and once a week make the slow descent to the forest floor. Wakefulness out here is survival. This is why field studies matter so much. An animal in captivity shows us how it can live, but only the wild reveals how it truly does. The rainforest gave back a sloth more alert and more like the rest of us than the legend allowed. The same caution reaches far beyond sloths. Many old sleep figures for wild creatures were gathered from zoos, and those numbers may drift from the truth. As lighter recorders travel into the wild, some of them, gently, are being revised. None of this makes the sloth less marvelous. It is still one of the slowest, most serene mammals on earth, an animal that has turned the stillness of the body into an art. It simply is not the tireless sleeper we once imagined. There is something comforting in the correction. The sloth is not escaping the world through endless sleep. It is awake for much of its life, present in its green and unhurried way, tasting the long hours of the forest day. So let the true picture settle over you now. A wild sloth hangs among the leaves, sleeping about 9.5 hours, much as you might, its calm not a retreat, but simply the pace at which it chooses to live. Rest now as that sloth rests high above the forest floor, no busier and no lazier than the natural measure of its kind. Its slowness was never sleep. It was only a life lived at a slower, steadier tempo than our own. And perhaps the myth held a small gift after all. In chasing the truth about the sloth, science reminds us that even our sleepiest legends deserve a closer look, and that the real story is often just as lovely and easier to believe. Fish have no eyelids to close, no soft lids to lower over their eyes, so it is fair to wonder, as you settle deeper into your pillow tonight, whether a creature that never shuts its eyes can truly sleep at all. The answer, researchers have found, is a quiet yes. Most fish enter genuine rest states, marked by long stillness, a favored resting spot, and a slower response to the world around them, even while their open eyes keep facing the water. Sleep, to a biologist, is not defined by closed eyes. It is defined by behavior, reduced movement, a preferred posture, dulled reactions, and the ability to snap fully awake if truly needed. By that measure, a resting fish is unmistakably asleep. Fish also lack a neocortex, the wrinkled outer brain that gives mammals their layered dreams. Yet sleep is far older than that structure, woven into simpler nervous systems long before the first mammal drew breath in the ancient dark. Consider the small zebrafish, a striped swimmer just a few centimeters long. In laboratories around the world, it has become one of the clearest windows we have into how sleep works, not only for fish, but perhaps for us as well. When night falls in the tank, a zebrafish grows still. It hangs almost motionless in the water, its tail hardly stirring, its breathing slowing, its body settling into a hush that scientists recognize at once as a sleep-like state. What makes the zebrafish so precious is how familiar its sleep appears from the inside. The genes and brain chemicals guiding its rest resemble our own close cousins of the very signals that will soon carry you toward morning. The hormone melatonin rises in a sleeping zebrafish just as it rises in you. This shared chemistry hints that the machinery of rest is ancient and deeply conserved, a family heirloom passed down across hundreds of millions of years of life. Because zebrafish are transparent when young, researchers can watch neurons flicker in a living, sleeping brain. Picture that, a tiny mind glowing faintly through clear skin, its cells quieting one by one as sleep gathers over it. Deprive a zebrafish of rest, and it does something touchingly familiar. The following night it sleeps longer and more deeply, catching up on what it lost, obeying the same recovery need that pulls at your own body after a wakeful night. Scientists have even found two distinct sleep states in these fish, resembling the deeper and lighter phases of our own nights. It suggests that the rhythm of sleep, its alternating textures, may be far older than anyone once imagined. Beyond the laboratory, the ocean holds its own quiet sleepers. On many coral reefs, when the sun sinks, whole communities of small fish drop toward the seafloor to pass the night in rest, trading the bright water above for stillness below. Some reef fish settle directly onto the sand or wedge themselves into a crevice. There they hang almost lifeless, fins barely moving, letting the reef's night shift of hunters pass while they wait out the darkness in a chosen hiding place. Wrasses are famous for this. As dusk deepens, many race species burrow beneath the sand entirely, vanishing under a thin blanket of grains where they lie hidden until the first pale light coaxes them back up to feed. Other fish keep a fin gently working, just enough to hold their place against a current or hover beside a sheltering rock. Their bodies rest while a small pump of motion continues, a compromise between stillness and the endless need to breathe. For fish, breathing and resting must share the same hours. Water flows over the gills as they lie quiet, and in some species the mouth opens and closes in a slow, steady rhythm, drawing oxygen even while the rest of the body sleeps. Among the most wondrous of night rituals belongs to the parrotfish. As evening arrives on the reef, this bright-scaled grazer prepares a shelter unlike any other, spun from within its own body before it dares to rest. Slowly it spins a thin bubble of mucus around itself, a see-through cocoon sealing it from snout to tail. Researchers believe this fragile sleeping bag masks its scent from prowling eels and shields it from tiny biting parasites all night. This mucus bubble is more than a blanket. Researchers believe it masks the fish's scent from prowling moray eels, which hunt by smell in the dark, letting the sleeper lie undetected within its slippery self-made veil. The cocoon may guard against more than teeth. Studies suggest it helps shield the parrotfish from tiny biting parasites that drift through the reef at night, a fine mesh of slime standing between the sleeper and the small dangers of the water. By dawn, the parrotfish stirs, breaks free of its wrapping, and swims off to graze the coral once more. Each night it must build the cocoon anew, spending precious energy on a fragile house it will abandon by morning. So the old riddle softens into something gentle and true. Fish do sleep in their own fashion, without lids to lower or dreams we could name, yet with rest as real and necessary as the sleep now settling over you. Across reefs and rivers, in tanks and open sea, countless fish are drifting into their nightly stillness even now. The zebrafish hangs quiet, the wrasse sinks under the sand, and the parrotfish seals its shimmering cocoon. Rest now as they rest, held by water instead of blankets. Let the thought of a whole ocean growing still carry you downward, breath by slow breath, into a sleep as ancient and easy as the tides themselves. Beneath the moonlit swell, a shark keeps moving. For many species, stillness is not restful but dangerous, because water must keep sliding over their gills to carry oxygen into the blood moment after moment all through the night. These constant swimmers are called ram ventilators. Great whites, makos, and whale sharks push forward with open mouths, ramming seawater across their gill filaments, letting motion itself do the breathing so their bodies never have to pause. Picture a mako carving a slow circle through open water. It cannot simply lie down, for if it stopped, the flow across its gills would fade and oxygen would dwindle, so swimming becomes as continuous as a heartbeat. Yet not every shark lives this restless life. Many species can breathe while resting, drawing water in with a method called buccal pumping, using the muscles of the mouth and throat to move the sea across their gills. Nurse sharks show this beautifully. They settle onto sandy bottoms and ledges, working their mouths in a slow rhythm, pulling water through and out the gill slits without swimming a single stroke, resting for long stretches on the seabed. Watch a white-tip reef shark tuck itself beneath a coral overhang. Piled together in caves by day, these sharks lie almost motionless, their throats pulsing faintly as they pump water, breathing while the reef holds them still. This division shapes how sharks rest. Buccal pumpers can lower themselves to the ocean floor and stay, while obligate ram ventilators must find rest, if they find it at all, somewhere within the act of moving forward. For a long time, scientists wondered whether sharks sleep at all. Without eyelids that close in most species, and with some never stopping, their inner rest was hidden, harder to read than the sleep of birds or mammals. To answer this, researchers turned to the draftsboard shark, a small buccal-pumping species from New Zealand named for the dark checkered pattern across its back. Because it rests on the bottom, its quiet hours could finally be studied closely. In careful experiments, these sharks entered long periods of stillness lasting 5 minutes or more. During these spells, they lay flat against the substrate, unmoving, and grew far less responsive to the gentle nudges of the surrounding world. The clearest sign came from their metabolism. When the sharks settled into these restful bouts, their oxygen use dropped measurably, a fall in energy demand that resembles the metabolic slowdown seen in the sleep of other animals. Their posture told a matching story. A resting draftsboard shark tends to lie flattened and low, body pressed to the floor, a relaxed shape distinct from the raised, alert stance it holds when simply awake and watchful. Researchers found that this flattened posture, held together with the drop in metabolism, offered a reliable outward marker of sleep, a way to see from the outside that something restorative was unfolding within the shark's still body. Interestingly, the eyes did not always give it away. Draftsboard sharks slept with eyes open in bright conditions and closed them mostly in darkness, suggesting their eyelids answer to light more than to sleep itself. These findings, published in recent years, offered some of the firmest evidence that at least some sharks truly sleep, not merely pausing but entering a distinct state with lowered energy and a loosened resting form. Still, a puzzle remains for the endless swimmers. If a mako or a great white can never stop, how could such an animal ever find the rest that sleep seems to require of nearly every creature that lives? Part of the answer may lie in the spinal cord. In many fishes, the steady rhythm of swimming is generated not by the busy forebrain but by circuits lower down, patterns of movement that can run on their own. These circuits are called central pattern generators. They produce the repeating side-to-side beat of the tail without needing constant instruction from above, much as your legs can carry a familiar walk while your thoughts wander elsewhere. If the spinal cord can hold the swimming, then the higher brain may be free to rest. A shark could, in principle, keep gliding forward, while parts of its mind slip into a quieter, sleep-like state. Some researchers suspect sharks might rest one half of the brain at a time, as dolphins and certain birds are known to do. This remains an open question, unproven in sharks, yet a graceful possible answer to the riddle of ceaseless motion. So sleep in sharks wears many forms across the deep: a nurse shark stacked in a cave, a draughts board flattened on the sand, a mako perhaps half dreaming while its tail keeps its ancient unbroken beat. There is comfort in this quiet variety. Even among the ocean's oldest hunters, the need for rest finds a way, whether by lying against the seafloor or by carrying stillness inside a body that never truly stops. Let these images settle over you now. The reef sharks folded into their caves, the checkered sleeper on the sand, the slow travelers of the open sea, each easing into rest in its own quiet, wordless fashion. Rest now as the sharks do, in whatever shape rest takes for you tonight. Let your breathing move on its own, as steady as water over gills, and let the deep, unhurried ocean carry you down into sleep. We tend to imagine sleep as something for creatures with soft fur and warm blood, yet rest reaches far smaller lives than ours, down to the insects humming through a summer meadow. Even they, it turns out, must pause and let the day fall away. Consider the fruit fly, no larger than a grain of rice, drifting through the air near ripe fruit. For more than 20 years, researchers have studied how this tiny creature rests, and what they found looks remarkably like our own nights. When a fruit fly settles into its longest still periods, usually after dark, its body goes quiet in a familiar way. It stops moving, its posture relaxes, and it grows slower to notice the small nudges of the world around it. Scientists call this a sleep-like state because it shares the true signatures of sleep. The fly becomes harder to rouse, needing a stronger touch to stir than a merely resting insect would, as though it has stepped through a threshold into something deeper. There is another sign, and it is the one that convinced researchers most. When a fruit fly is kept awake through the night, gently disturbed so it cannot settle, it sleeps longer and more deeply afterward, making up for what it lost. This catching up is called sleep rebound, and it appears across the animal world. A mouse does it, a bird does it, and so does a fly weighing almost nothing, hinting that the need for sleep runs far older and wider than anyone once believed. Because fruit flies breed quickly and share many genes with us, they have become one of science's great windows into sleep. In their tiny bodies, researchers have traced genes that shape how long any animal, including a person, may need to rest. Some fruit flies carry a rare variant that lets them thrive on unusually little sleep, a natural short sleeping line raised in laboratories. Studying them helps explain why sleep length differs so much from creature to creature and from one person to the next. Now lift your attention from the fruit to the flowers and to the honeybee moving among them. A hive can hold tens of thousands of bees, And even in that busy multitude, the individual worker must find her hours of stillness. A sleeping honeybee is a quiet thing to behold. Her antennae stop their restless searching and droop downward, her muscles slacken, and she may lean against a comb or a sister held up while the daytime fever of work drains away. Older foragers, the bees who leave the hive to gather nectar, tend to sleep more at night, nearer the cool edges of the comb. Younger house bees rest in shorter scattered snatches, tucked deep among the cells where the brood is warm. What happens when a honeybee is robbed of her rest is one of the loveliest findings in this field. Researchers kept certain foragers awake, then watched them the next day as they returned and performed the famous waggle dance. That dance is a message written in movement. By waggling along a straight run at a precise angle, a returning bee tells her hivemates the direction of flowers, translating the angle of the sun into steps across the vertical comb. When a forager had been kept from sleeping, her dance grew less accurate. The direction she signaled wavered and blurred, so the bees who followed her would set off along a slightly wrong heading toward flowers that were not quite where she claimed. In this way, one tired bee's imprecision ripples outward into the whole hive. Sleep, it seems, is not a private luxury, but part of how a colony stays coordinated, how thousands of small lives keep pointing one another in the right direction. Honeybees deprived of rest also struggle in another quiet way. They become worse at remembering, less able to hold on to what they learned that day, echoing the same link between sleep and memory that researchers see in far larger brains. So the humming insects of the world are not simply machines that stop when night falls. They pass through genuine states of rest, with thresholds and rebounds and consequences, woven into how they navigate and remember and survive. And then the story reaches somewhere stranger still, to a creature with no brain at all. In warm, shallow lagoons drifts the upside-down jellyfish, Cassiopeia, resting on the seafloor with its frilled arms lifted toward the light above. This jellyfish pulses, slowly opening and closing its bell about once a second as it draws in water. Watching that steady rhythm, researchers wondered whether even a creature without a central brain might know something like sleep. At night, the animal's pulsing slowed by roughly a third, settling into a calmer, more sluggish beat. When a gentle disturbance woke it, it needed a moment to gather itself before returning to normal, just as a drowsy animal is slow to come fully round. They tested the last clue as well, keeping the jellyfish stirred through the night with soft pulses of water. The following day it rested more, catching up on what it had missed, showing the same rebound that marks sleep in flies and bees and mice. A jellyfish has only a loose net of nerves, no true brain to speak of, yet it meets every quiet test that scientists use to recognize sleep. This suggests the state is astonishingly ancient, older than brains, older than backbones, older than almost everything. Perhaps sleep first appeared long ago in some simple ancestor adrift in an early sea, and life has carried it forward ever since. From that distant beginning it flows on through insects and jellyfish, all the way to you resting now. So rest now, and let yourself belong to that vast and gentle company, the fly, the bee, the drifting jellyfish, and you are all answering the same old call to be still. Let it carry you down, as it has carried life for a very long time. Somewhere in a warm terrarium, a bearded dragon settles for the night, its small chest rising and falling. For a long time, scientists assumed reptiles simply switched off in the dark. What researchers found instead was far stranger and more familiar. In 2016, a team in Germany placed tiny electrodes deep within the brains of these Australian lizards. As the dragons slept, their brain activity did not stay flat or still. Instead, it rose and fell in a steady, repeating rhythm. Two distinct states alternated through the night, one after the other, again and again. One phase showed slow, sweeping waves of activity. The other crackled with sharp, quick bursts that resembled a very different kind of sleep entirely. These two patterns looked remarkably like the sleep stages we see in mammals and birds. In us, deep, slow-wave sleep alternates with the vivid dreaming phase called REM. The lizard appeared to be cycling between something very similar. During the sharp, active phase, the dragon's eyes moved beneath their lids, flickering the way ours do when we dream. This is the signature of rapid eye movement, the stage in humans most tied to dreaming. Seeing it in a reptile surprised nearly everyone. In humans, one full sleep cycle lasts roughly 90 minutes from beginning to end. The bearded dragon's cycle spins far faster, turning over in about 80 seconds. Through a single night, it may complete this loop hundreds of times. Picture that quiet rhythm ticking away in the dark, a small brain rising and dipping between two worlds. Slow waves, then swift flickers, then slow waves once more. The pattern holds steady, hour after hour, until morning light returns. Why does this matter so much to the scientists who found it? Because reptiles and mammals last shared a common ancestor over 300 million years ago. If both cycle through these phases, the pattern may be extraordinarily ancient. It hints that the two great states of sleep did not arise separately in birds and in mammals. Instead, they may trace back to a creature that lived before the dinosaurs. The roots of dreaming, it appears, run deeper into time than anyone expected. Researchers are careful with their words, and so should we be. The dragon's states resemble our sleep stages, but they are not identical copies. The brain regions involved differ, and much about the comparison remains gently uncertain. Still, the resemblance is hard to dismiss. Two alternating states, one slow and one sharp, cycling through the night in a small desert lizard. It looks less like coincidence and more like a shared inheritance, quietly preserved across the ages. Now drift with me from the land into the ocean, where an even stranger sleeper waits. The cuttlefish is a soft, hovering relative of the octopus and squid, and it too appears to slip into something that looks like dreaming. For most of its rest, a cuttlefish holds still, its arms tucked and its skin a calm, even tone. But every so often this quiet breaks in a sudden, startling display. The animal seems to wake into a private dream of color and motion. Its arms begin to twitch and curl, though the animal is not hunting or fleeing. Its eyes roll and dart within their lidless sockets. Across its skin, waves of color ripple and flash, painting patterns that flow and fade in seconds. Scientists at a marine laboratory watched these episodes return in a regular rhythm, roughly every half hour or so. The bursts of twitching and color lasted a minute or two before the animal fell still again. The cycle then repeated through the resting period. These active episodes bear an uncanny resemblance to REM sleep in mammals. The moving eyes, the twitching limbs, the rapid shifts beneath a resting body all echo what happens when we dream. Yet the cuttlefish sits on a wholly separate branch of life. That distance makes the finding even more remarkable to consider. Our last common ancestor with a cuttlefish lived perhaps 600 million years ago, a soft creature in an ancient sea. Whatever this state is, it may have evolved twice, independently. No one can say whether the cuttlefish truly dreams, and honest researchers do not claim it. Perhaps the rippling colors replay the day's disguises and hunts. Perhaps they mean something we have no words for yet. The animal keeps its secret. What these two creatures share is a lesson in humility about sleep. A lizard on the sand and a cuttlefish in the deep both cycle through states that mirror our own restless nights. Sleep, it seems, is stranger and older than we long believed. Consider how quietly these discoveries rewrite an old story. For a century, dreaming sleep was thought to belong to warm-blooded animals alone. Now it appears in scaled reptiles and boneless creatures of the sea, hinting at far deeper roots. There is comfort in this widening circle of sleepers. Across the branches of life, from lizard to cuttlefish to the person now resting, brains slip into cycles that rise and fall. You are joined tonight by countless dreaming kin. Rest now as a bearded dragon somewhere turns through its 80-second cycle in the dark. Its slow waves gather, then scatter into flickers, then gather once more. The rhythm asks nothing of it, only that it stays and sleeps. And rest as a cuttlefish hovers over the sand, its skin blooming with soft, private color. Whatever passes behind its rolling eyes, it needs no witness and no meaning. It simply drifts through its ancient appointed rhythm of rest. Let these quiet questions carry you toward sleep, unanswered and unhurried. Somewhere old and shared within us, a rhythm turns that reptiles and sea creatures seem to know as well. Follow it down now into your own slow waves into rest. Here is a question no telescope or scalpel can quite reach. When a dog stirs in its basket, when a cat's paw trembles against the floor, We lean closer and wonder whether something is unfolding behind those closed eyes. We cannot climb inside another creature's mind and look around. An animal cannot describe its night to us in the morning, so science approaches the question sideways, watching the brain itself, listening to the electric hum beneath the fur. In the early 2000s, researchers at a laboratory recorded rats running through a maze. Tiny electrodes listened to the hippocampus, the brain's mapmaker, as particular cells fired in sequence, marking each corner and corridor the animal crossed awake. Then the rats fell asleep, and the scientists kept listening. Something remarkable happened in the quiet. The very same cells fired again in the very same order, as though the animal were running the maze once more inside its resting head. This is called hippocampal replay, and it is one of the closest windows we have onto a sleeping mind. The pattern was so precise that researchers could tell where the dreaming rat was along the remembered path. The replays often ran faster than real life, the whole journey compressed into a fraction of a second, corner after corner, rushing by. And in the resting moments just after a run, the sequences could even reverse, the maze unspooling from finish to start, as if memory were being turned over and examined from both ends. Scientists suspect this rehearsal helps fold the day's experience into lasting memory. The night is not empty. It appears to be a workshop where the brain revisits what it learned and quietly files it away for keeping. Whether the rat experiences this as we experience a dream, no one can honestly say. What the data show is the machinery, the same map lighting up in sleep that lit up in waking. The felt sensation stays hidden from us. Consider your dog by the fire, legs beginning to churn. The paws paddle at nothing, a muffled bark escapes, the whiskers flutter. To any watcher it looks unmistakably like a chase, a field, a squirrel forever just ahead. These movements arrive during a stage of sleep with rapid eye motion, the phase most tied to vivid dreaming in humans. Beneath the eyelids, a dog's eyes flick as though following something only it can see. In most healthy sleep, the body holds itself still, a natural break that keeps us from acting our dreams out. The twitches we notice are small leaks past that break brief and harmless flickers of a story running underneath. Cats show it too, their ears swiveling, their claws flexing at empty air. Decades ago, experiments that lifted the sleep break revealed cats rising to stalk and pounce at invisible prey, their dreaming bodies rehearsing the hunt. Larger minds seem to hold longer scenes. Bigger animals tend to spend more time in this dreaming stage per cycle, while a mouse passes through it in short, frequent bursts, each dream a brief flicker rather than a long tail. The wondering does not stop with fur and warm blood. Beneath the waves, the cuttlefish, a soft-bodied cousin of the octopus, offers its own strange hint that dreaming may be far older than we imagined. A resting cuttlefish will suddenly ripple with color, its skin flashing through patterns of camouflage and courtship while its eyes twitch and its arms curl. Researchers watching this described a state that resembles our rapid eye movement sleep. No one claims to know what a cuttlefish sees, if it sees anything at all, but the skin, which speaks the animal's every mood while awake, seems to keep murmuring in sleep, as though rehearsing the language of the reef. Birds carry the pattern skyward. Zebra finches, it appears, replay their songs at night. The same neurons that shape each note by day pulse again in darkness, as if the bird were silently practicing its melody in sleep. What threads through all of this is not proof of dreams, but a shared design. Memory replay in sleep turns up in mammals, in birds, and now hints in creatures of the sea, a mechanism far more ancient than any single branch of life. The honest scientist holds two things at once: the evidence for replaying, rehearsing, consolidating minds is real and measurable. The inner experience, the question of what it feels like, remains beyond our instruments, and perhaps always will. Maybe that unknowing is its own kind of gift. Every sleeping animal carries a small sealed chamber of experience we can circle but never enter, a privacy as deep and quiet as sleep itself. So when you see an eyelid flutter, a paw twitch, a soft sound rise and fade, you are watching the outermost ripple of something vast and hidden, a mind at work in the dark, tending its memories. Perhaps the kindest answer is the simplest. The machinery of dreaming, the replay of lived experience in sleep, is not ours alone. We share it with the dog on the rug, and it seems with a cuttlefish drifting far below. Rest now as somewhere a small brain retraces the paths of its day, folding what it learned into memory, running its quiet maze one more time in the safety of sleep. And as you settle, let the questions stay open and unhurried. You are one more sleeping creature among countless others, joining a rehearsal older than words, carried on the same ancient tide toward morning. Across every ocean, forest, and desert we have wandered through, one truth returns again and again. Nearly every animal ever studied sleeps in some form, from the great whale to the smallest fly, each surrendering hours it might have spent alive and alert. Sleep is, in many ways, a strange and dangerous bargain. To rest is to lower your guard, to stop feeding, to stop watching for danger. Yet life keeps paying this price, which tells biologists that whatever sleep buys must be worth a great deal. One of its oldest gifts is memory. During sleep, the brain replays the day's experiences, strengthening the connections worth keeping and letting the rest quietly fade, so that a fragile impression becomes a lasting, usable trace. Rats that learn a maze show their brain cells firing again in the same order as they slumber, as if running the path once more in the dark. Through this rehearsal, a wandering route becomes something remembered, a map the animal can trust tomorrow. Sleep also cleans while the body rests. Fluid moves more freely through the spaces of the brain, flushing away molecular waste that gathers during waking hours, tidying the mind the way a tide clears a shoreline overnight. There is the matter of energy, too. A sleeping body burns less fuel, its temperature easing and its heart slowing, so that the hours of darkness become a way to spend less when there is little to gain from being awake. And there is repair. In deep sleep, growth hormone rises, tissues mend, and young bodies build themselves toward their full size. Much of the quiet knitting together of a living thing happens precisely when it seems to be doing nothing at all. No single one of these needs explains sleep completely. Memory, cleaning, energy, and repair likely weave together, which is why sleep has proven impossible to abandon, no matter how many millions of years of evolution have tested it. What astonishes researchers most is the sheer inventiveness of it. Life did not find one way to sleep. It found 1,000, each shaped to a body and a world, all reaching toward the same restoration. A dolphin sleeps with half its brain awake so it can rise to breathe. A frigate bird steals seconds of sleep on the wing above the sea. Each answer bends the rules without ever quite escaping the need beneath them. A bat folds into a cave for 19 hours, while a giraffe steals barely 2, and both are right, each tuned by the demands of its own life, its own hunters, its own hunger for the coming day. Even creatures without a proper brain seem to rest. The small jellyfish called Cassiopeia pulses more slowly at night and grows sluggish to wake, a sleep-like state in an animal that has no head to lose in dreams. This is what makes sleep feel less like a habit and more like a law of living things. Wherever a nervous system arose, some form of rest arose beside it, as if being awake could only ever be borrowed, never owned outright. So when you close your eyes tonight, you join a company almost as old as animal life itself. The lion on the plain, the swift in the clouds, the fish hovering among the reeds, all of them are keeping the same ancient appointment. There is a quiet comfort in that fellowship. Your slowing breath tonight is the same slowing breath of the fox in its den and the seal drifting beneath the waves, a shared rhythm that stretches across the whole living world. Consider how the darkened earth fills with sleeping bodies as it turns. As one hemisphere wakes, the other softens into rest, and the planet is never without millions of creatures letting go, hour after hour, all the way around. None of them fights this. The elephant leans into its standing. The bird tucks its head beneath a wing. The snail seals its door, and each accepts the pull of rest as naturally as it accepts the pull of the ground. You need not do anything special to belong to this. The need is already in you, written as deeply as it is written in the whale and the wren, waiting only for you to stop resisting and let it carry you down. All the work of your day can be set aside now, the way every creature sets its own day aside. What matters will be sorted and stored while you rest, and what does not will be allowed kindly to slip away. Let the machinery of the night begin its gentle labor. Let memory settle. Let the mind be rinsed clean. Let the body mend the small wearing of the hours, all of it happening without any effort from you. There is nothing left to solve tonight, and nothing left to guard. The whole sleeping world has shown you how over and over through every chapter and every creature. Now it is simply your turn to follow them down. Rest now as the owl finally folds into shadow and the tired hummingbird lets its heart grow still. Rest now as the reef quiets and the meadow stills, and let yourself become one more sleeper among countless kin. Breathe out slowly and feel how easily the world has always known this, from the first small animals in ancient seas to you. Here tonight, the invitation has never changed, and it asks nothing of you but to accept it. So good night, traveler, and good night to all the sleeping earth. May your rest be deep, your body eased, and your mind made quiet, until the light returns and the whole waking world gently opens its eyes again.